Good morning and welcome to the Habits, Health, and Happiness Show. I'm Susie B. and I'm your host. I am a habits expert and a personal trainer, and that's how I know how hard it is to stay on track with your health, with your self-love, with your habits this time of year, because everything is so unpredictable. Everything is so unusual, and it throws such a wrench in your routine because there's so much different going on. And a lot of people take this as a negative thing. A lot of people think, well, the holidays are hard because of that reason. I would like to help you flip that mindset today to help you realize that a little bit of change, a season that is different than the others, will actually help you because it can help you learn to celebrate. The power of celebration is massively huge when it comes to motivation and success in any area of your life, whether it's habits, whether it's health, whether it's whatever you're working on, your business, your family, anything that you have a goal in. Having or the act of celebration is one thing that will help you motivate yourself to continue and to realize how incredible it is what you are doing at that moment. So the last 3 weeks, this month of December, I have been using the theme of mental health habits. The last 3 weeks have been some other mental health habits. So this is habit number 3. The first one was slowing down, taking a little time to just breathe and be with yourself. The second one was affirmations, where you look in the mirror and you tell yourself something that you know to be true about yourself or something that you want to know to be true about yourself. And you give yourself just a little bit of praise and a little bit of validation that what you're doing matters and that you care about yourself. Today, I want to help you practice the third mental health habit of celebrating. Celebrate. I want you to realize what you are doing. I don't want you to focus on the negative. I don't want you to think about your self-doubt and all the things you wish you were doing. What I want you to think about is what you are doing, because that is what matters. That's all that matters. And that is what is going to create those positive brain connections in your brain that will help you to actually keep going forward. If you're so focused on the negative all the time, it will bring you back. It will make you feel stuck. But if, on the other hand, you can see the tiny little changes and the tiny little bits of movement that you are actually making, you will be able to progress at a much faster rate with long-term results. So the other thing that we have been talking about a lot on this show is habits. Obviously, that's what the title of the show is. That's what the whole premise of all of these things that I'm teaching is for you to make these steps, these simple, tiny changes long-term, and to make it simple enough and small enough that you can do it every single day. That's the power of a habit. And once you do it consistently for a period of time, your brain makes some new pathways, makes some new connections, realizes the patterns, and continues those patterns for you on autopilot. That's the best part of forming a habit. You do a little bit of work for a period of time, and then the results just keep perpetuating without any work at all. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to plan for it. You don't have to move things around to make sure that it gets done. It just gets done because you have taken the time to put that important information in your brain and let your brain know how important it is. How do we do that? How do we tell our brain this matters, this is important, and this is where we need to focus? Consistency. A lot of what I teach is progress over perfection, because that is one detrimental way to keep you from achieving your goals. If you take, for example, New Year's resolutions, that's coming right up. If you start on January 1st with whatever your New Year's resolution is, and then on January 3rd, you don't do it, then you're like, well, guess I have to wait till next year, right? It's not about perfection. It's not a problem if you miss a day. It's absolutely not. But your brain is always looking for patterns. So you want to make sure that your patterns are happening frequently enough that your brain realizes that this is still part of the pattern. If I were to show you a 4-piece pattern right now that was triangle, square, circle, line, triangle, square, circle, line, triangle, square, circle, line. And then I were to say triangle, square, circle, you would know the next one in the pattern is line, right? But if we skipped that one and we went right onto triangle, square, circle, you would know the next time it's still line, right? Even though we missed one, it didn't ruin the pattern. That pattern is still in your mind. You still remember what it is and you're able to go back to it. Habits are the same way. If you miss a day, it's not a big deal. Just keep on going. Remember that you don't want that missed day to become the pattern. So don't let 2 things become 10 things. Just let one mistake be one mistake, or one rest day be a rest day. You know, maybe you are going at it really, really hard and you're like, you know what, today I just need a break. Awesome. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, my habit was to just slow down. So maybe that's something that you need to do. Listen to your body, listen to your life, listen to yourself, and act upon that, follow that. If you are taking the time to slow down and be with yourself, these thoughts will be much more clear than if you're just go, 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 go all the time. So I encourage you to slow down, realize what matters to you, what's important, and then chase that down with progress, not perfection. If you miss a day, it's fine. Don't be so hard on yourself. We as women especially are so hard on ourselves, and we have high expectations, which is what makes us such great leaders and such great thought presenters, because we expect high things of ourselves, because deep down we know how amazing we are. But then we miss a day, or we make a mistake, or we don't show up the way that we expected to. And instead of thinking, well, that's fine, let's go on to the next day, or let's go on to the next thing, we sit there in that moment and we focus on it and we think, why didn't I do better? Or what's wrong with me? Or you start to tear yourself down. I encourage you to not do that. And how do we not do that? How do we fight back against that self-demon or that self-doubt demon? With celebration. The habit of celebrating is so powerful and so simple. Let me explain to you why. When you notice what you are doing, you trigger something in your brain's filter. It's called your reticular activating system. And when you see what you are doing, you actually are able to do more. You actually are able to see more of what you are doing. If you've ever noticed maybe whatever you're looking for, like if you just bought a car, you thought you'd bought a unique car that nobody else has, right? And then all of a sudden you see it all over the road. That's because you made it important in your mind. You purchased that thing, you shopped for it, you looked for it, you paid money for it, and now you drive it. Every time you come out of a grocery store, you look for that car. So that is important to your brain now. So now your brain automatically starts to filter the world around you. Those cars were always there, but you didn't notice them until now because you made it important in your mind. Celebrating is the same way. If you look in the mirror every morning and you think, oh, these wrinkles, or, oh, my teeth are yellow, or I wish I had a smaller nose, or I wish I could lose weight, or whatever it is, if you look in the mirror and you see the negative about yourself, you will continue to see negative about yourself and the world around you. If, on the other hand, you look in the mirror and you celebrate, you look and you smile at yourself, and you give yourself a high five, like Mel Robbins says about in her high five habit. If you are able to celebrate yourself from the beginning, start your day with a celebration, give yourself a high five, give yourself a smile, look at yourself and think, you know what? I'm here. I'm alive and awake this morning and I'm ready to go. That not only starts you in a positive mindset, but it also turns on that celebration filter that helps you to see what you are capable of, instead of giving permission to that self-doubt demon to come and get to work on you that day. Nope, those 2 things can't exist at the same time. You can't be self-deprecating and celebrating at the same time. So it's your choice. You get to choose which of those you make part of your life today and every day and several times every day. One way that I do this for my clients is I have what I call the blueprint. And this is my goal tracking system. My clients set between 3 and 10 goals that they want to work on every day. And as they're working through these things, they start to become habitual because we go through a process that turns them from goals into habits. But the point of the blueprint is so that they can actually physically see what they're doing in a day. I had a client last week that got really, really sick. And she was like, well, it just kind of threw off my whole thing. And it frustrated me, but I stuck with the blueprint and I wrote down what I was doing. And I said, will you please show us your blueprint from last week on the days you were sick? And she held it up. And she had done 4 of her goals on the day she was sick. And to her, she was like, well, there were 10 possible and I should have done 10, but I only got to 4. And I said, you know what? You did 4 things that day. I want you to be proud of those 4 things. Don't worry about the 6 things you didn't have time for. Don't worry about your body was sick and giving you a message that you needed to take a break. Those other ones didn't matter that day. What did matter is that you stuck to it. You didn't quit. You didn't walk away from it all just because something came up. You stuck to it and you pushed through and you gave yourself a little bit of love using those habits. 4 things that she accomplished that day that she was trying to diminish. And once I told her about this, she was like, you know what? You're right. So the next week she came on and she's like, I did 4 things every single day. And on top of that, I did an additional 3 things on most of those days. So all of a sudden she had this confidence, this ability to know that even on the hard days, she could still do those tasks. She could still show up for herself and give herself some love, give herself some health, give herself some habits, and be able to have the confidence that she knew she could do this. This wasn't just something that, oh, maybe I can, maybe I can't anymore. Once you do it once, you give yourself the validation, the confidence, and the self-esteem that you need to be able to do it again. I interviewed a girl last week that said that she had sold everything and moved to the Bahamas for a job. And in order to sell everything, she had to go a little bit at a time. It took her months to get through all of her stuff because she said she was a little bit of a hoarder and she didn't want to get rid of it. It was really, really hard for her. And it took her months. And after she'd sold everything, she went to this new job and she was still kind of in a stressed mindset. But then, a couple years later, she'd worked and she'd gone home and got her house back and all of these things and started to accumulate things again. And then she decided to do it again. And she wanted to sell all of her stuff again and go to a new country again. She decided that she really, really loved to travel this way. And so she did. And she said the difference between the first time and the second time was astronomical. Because the second time, I knew I would be fine. I knew I could do it. And it wasn't nearly as difficult because I'd already been there. So giving yourself a little bit of experience not only lets you be present in that moment, but also in the future, it makes things easier for you. So using that to celebrating the here and now, celebrating who you are, what you're doing, how you're doing it, and why you're doing it. If you can see those things in yourself on a daily basis, on the easy stuff, on the little things in your life, you know what? I got the kids on time to school today. That's a win. I got up and I made dinner. I didn't burn dinner tonight. That's always a win for me. I'm a terrible cook. So if you're paying attention to the celebrations and you are giving yourself credit and validation and approval on the little things, then when it comes to the big stuff, you're so much more confident. You're so much more capable, and you know you can do it because of your past experience. You know what? I've never done this before, and I'm a little bit nervous about it. Maybe this is your first speaking event, or maybe this is your first, business conference, and you've never done one before, and you're a little bit nervous about it. So then you think back to yourself, okay, what in my past experience can help me in this moment? I've done those. I've done things for the first time plenty of times before, and I made it. I did it. I lived through it, and it was great. Or it was terrible, and I learned a lesson from it. I have a podcast where I talk about lessons that we learn from embarrassing moments. And these people always come in with these horribly embarrassing, most of the time they're publicly embarrassing moments where hundreds of people are watching. And then they come out with an incredible lesson that they learned from it that serves them for the rest of their life. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have, like I keep saying, progress over perfection. You don't have to do everything right the first time. But if you realize what you are doing right, and you realize what you're learning from the things that don't go right, that's what's going to build you up. That is what's going to keep you mentally healthy, that mental health habit of celebration. It's more about your mind than anything else. A checklist is nice to have that little bit of dopamine release in your head that says, good job, a nice pat on the back. But realizing that you can do hard things by doing easy things first is so incredible. It's so powerful for your life, for your daily living, both helping you be present and happy right now in the present, while also helping you in the future to believe in yourself when things come up. So that's what I want you to work on this week. I want you to form some celebration habits in your life. And this week, I chose this week because it is Christmas. If you are a person who celebrates Christmas, this is a huge week of celebration. If this isn't a holiday that you celebrate, then you can still exhibit this habit in your life. But if this is a holiday week, a lot of times we think, oh, this is a stressful week and I'm going to wait until New Year's. Don't wait until New Year's. Celebrate this week with what you can do today. Pick 1, 2, or 3 habits. I always recommend 3. Pick 3 habits that you can do today. Maybe that's drinking water. Maybe that's going for a walk. Maybe that is getting up 20 minutes earlier and getting in your workout before anybody else is even awake. Maybe that's reading a self-help book. Maybe that is sending the messages to the people that need to hear from you to keep your business running through the end of the year. Whatever it is that you know that you need to do, that you're avoiding, that avoidance trigger is massively huge. If you just do one of those things today, 1 or 2 or 3, just tiny little baby steps, and then you celebrate that. That's the key. You can do something all day long, but if you don't pay attention and you don't notice and you don't give yourself that affirmation and validation, I did that. I did that today. I did that on a hard day that I didn't want to, and I did it anyway. That's what's going to make those brain connections. That's what's going to make those long-term changes and keep you moving forward. It's absolutely incredible what you can do by just shifting the way that you think. Like my client, instead of wishing, oh, I should have done 10 things that day, she shifted it to, I can do 4 things every day, no matter what now. Because I did it on an incredibly hard day when I felt so crappy. I still got those 4 things done. So I know that on the easy days, on the good days, I can absolutely get at least 4 things done, if not more. Talk to yourself that way. That's why we did affirmations last week. If you didn't see that episode, go ahead and watch it. Tell yourself you're awesome. Tell yourself you're strong. Tell yourself you are living the dream, whatever the dream is. Don't say I will or someday or I want. You are, because you're here and you're moving forward. Maybe you're not there yet, but you're well on your way. And if you look and you pay attention, you'll be able to see that. Otherwise, you might just miss the whole thing. I often I compare celebration to a road trip versus a direct flight. Either way, you're going to get where you're going. But what are you going to experience along the way on a road trip versus a direct flight? A direct flight, you'll probably sit in the airport for a couple of hours and then you'll get on an airplane and maybe you'll take a nap, maybe you'll watch a movie, and then you'll land. And that's it. There's not really much of an experience there. But on a road trip, you're going to stop all along the way. You're going to meet interesting people. You're going to see unique places that you've never seen before. Maybe you'll have a flat tire and you'll learn how to change a tire. Maybe you'll have difficult weather that you have to learn how to navigate. You're going to grow more on a road trip because of the experiences you have versus taking a shortcut. It's okay to go the long way sometimes. It's okay to do hard things sometimes because you come out of it stronger and better, but only if you're celebrating, only if you're paying attention and seeing it as a positive thing in your life. If instead on that road trip, you're just like, oh, we got another flat tire, let's turn around and go home. You're depriving yourself of learning the positive lesson that will help you keep moving forward. One time we got a flat tire on a trip and we stopped and we changed the tire and it was a big pain and it made us hours late to wherever we were going. But down the road, we saw someone else with a flat tire. So we pulled over to help them and they'd never changed a tire and they had no idea what we were doing. Well, we just did it a minute ago, so let's help you. So not only is this for yourself, but it's also to help the people around you. When you celebrate you, people come to you to help them celebrate them. That's a huge part of why I'm in business, because people want someone to help them see the positive in what they're doing, especially with health. As a personal trainer, people come to me and say, hey, I need to change this and I have to change that because I hate the way about this, or I can't stand this about myself. Within a couple of weeks, they're saying, you know what? I feel better. I look better. I see what I am doing, and they're able to celebrate because they have someone in their corner. They have someone to celebrate with. That's one of my natural gifts, and that's one talent that I work hard to develop because I love to be there to celebrate with people. I think that's one of the most underrated things in the universe is the power of celebration. And that's one of the things that I push the most in my programs, is for you to see what you are doing. Focus on the little changes that are making a massive difference by starting small, giving yourself a little bit of confidence, and then adding on and working up into this incredible, powerful, magical self, and then turning that into habitual so that you don't have to think about it anymore. No longer are you putting in the effort and putting in the time and putting in the work and still just struggling to see the results. After a period of time of noticing what you're doing, keeping your head on straight and working on progress over perfection, those habits become habits. Those goals, those daily tasks that you're working on become habits. And you don't have to think so hard about them anymore, but they start to happen on their own. And the results continue to happen on autopilot. That is the best part of coaching people through the habits process, is because when they start, they're unsure. And when they finish, they are so sure and so confident that not only do they kill the process that they're in, but they're able to apply it in every other aspect of their lives. It's absolutely fascinating to watch. Such a gift that I have. So today I want to challenge you to do 3 celebration habits this week. 3 celebration habits. The first one is celebrate yourself first thing in the morning. When you wake up, I want you to walk in your bathroom mirror, look at yourself, and say something positive. If you don't have anything to say, channel Mel Robbins and give yourself a high five. That's all you need. Anything at all. Any sort of positive direction where you're looking at yourself. Go back and listen to last week's episode and work on those affirmations. Use one of those or 5 of those. I still do 6 to myself every morning. Wake up first thing, see yourself for what you are as a positive, powerful, incredible woman, and say something nice to yourself. Start your day off with a little bit of positivity. The second habit of celebration is during the day, when you do something, celebrate it. Take a minute to yes, or clap for yourself, or just acknowledge, you know what? That looks pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that. Be proud of that, whatever that is. Maybe you have terrible fashion sense and you put together a great outfit. Simple, awesome. Look in the mirror and be like, dang, I look good. Maybe you hate to wake up and make breakfast. Wake up, make a really simple breakfast, plate it nicely, give it to your family, and realize, you know what? Everyone here at this table is being fed. That's a win. When maybe you're someone who doesn't like to exercise, get up, go for a walk, start small. You don't have to go on these crazy, you don't have to be in the CrossFit gym doing 1,000 burpees and pull-ups to get a workout. Your level of fitness can be anything as long as it's yours. So do something that challenges you today and then celebrate that. Be proud of what you did. And then the third one is to celebrate with someone else. This is an incredible habit. This is one of my favorite things to do in my life because it cultivates not only great connection and great friendship with other people, but it draws positivity to your life. So I started with my older sister. She started to call me once in a while when she had good news, and I would always be as excited or more excited than her at whatever the news was. Even if it was something that I was jealous of, even if it was something that maybe I didn't know if that was the right choice for her or whatever, it didn't matter. If she had good news and I was the person she was calling to tell about it, I was going to be so excited for her. And so now, after years of practicing this, I'm the person that she calls every time she has good news because she knows I'll be excited for her, whatever that news is. Sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it's wacky, sometimes it's really awesome. But I'm always not always, but I'm usually the person she calls to give that good news to. And I cherish that. I cherish that part of our relationship. And I'm so grateful that I get to do that, not only for her, but also for me. And then as she tells other people, or as I just start to attract that into my life, other people call me with the good news. Other people sign up for my programs just for the success part of it, just for the celebration part of it, because they know that they have that here. They know that they will be celebrated for their wins and not punished or embarrassed for their mistakes. I want all of my clients to be uplifted in my programs. I use the word happy a lot in my programming. Healthy and Happy is my 60-day health habits challenge. And this show is called Habits, Health, and Happiness My podcast is called Habits and Humor. It's all about the joy of getting through embarrassing moments. And I just really focus on happy because I want to teach people those three things. If you celebrate yourself first thing in the morning, give yourself some positivity, then you celebrate what you're able to do, celebrate yourself as a person, celebrate what you can accomplish, and then celebrate with other people. Your RAS, your reticular activating system, the filter in your mind, starts to look for positivity in your life and starts to attract that to you. It's the theory of magnetism, where you focus on something and then you're able to see it more and more and more. And it just becomes part of the way you live. That is one incredible habit. If you can celebrate a little bit at a time, just 3 things every day, celebrate yourself first thing, celebrate what you can do, and celebrate other people, you will create a habit of happiness in your life. So this week, as you're celebrating the holidays, look for the positive. Look for how you can lift yourself and others as we go through this week. Don't focus on the stress. Don't focus on the lack or the wants. Focus on what you have. Focus on what you're giving. Focus on what you're able to do, and be so proud of yourself for being here, because you are incredible and you are here. You have shown up for yourself enough times to get you to this point. Be proud of that and be proud of you. As we are going into the new year and the end of this year, if you're picking up what I'm putting down with all of this habits, I want you to know that I am opening my program at the beginning of January, and there will be 10 spots available if you would like to get in the Habits, Health, and Happiness program. It's a 4-month coaching program where you learn habits. You go through my proven habit system twice. So the first round is with your physical health. What a great way to start the year. Starting with some amazing proven health habits that have been researched for over a decade in a system that absolutely works long-term. If you're tired of the on again, off again, on again, off again, this is the program that changes that. We celebrate the wins, we get you that positive shift in your mindset, and then we make your choices habitual so you don't have to think about it anymore, saving time, saving effort, saving energy, but still accomplishing your healthy habits every day. It's absolutely incredible. Then we go through a goal setting workshop where we figure out what your next top priority is, and we repeat the goal setting or the habit formation process with a goal that you chose. I choose your physical health because I know how that impacts every aspect of your life. And then you choose the next round. Maybe that's your business. Maybe that's your mental health. Maybe that's your family relationships. Maybe you need to work on your marriage or something like that. Whatever it is, we'll go through that workshop and figure out what your top priority is. And then we'll repeat the habit formation process. Can you imagine having your physical health and that next top priority happening every single day without thinking about it? Absolutely on autopilot, creating these results every day, long term. That is where you take back your control, where you take back your power and you live the life you want to live. Time no longer just passes you by. You make life happen every day. And the key to starting is to celebrate. Celebrate yourself. Be proud of who you are and what you can do. And then increase your circle, increase your magnetic force to draw positivity towards you by celebrating other people. Have a wonderful Christmas week, you guys. I hope this holiday brings you so much happiness and so much joy. Thank you for being here today, and we will see you next week on Habits, Health, and Happiness. I'm Susie B. Thanks again for being here.